My friend, tonight's subject, or today's subject, whenever you're watching this, is one of the best ever because it deals with something which a lot of folks despise, and this is double standard. Druski, by the way, these names that I'm going to be reading, I've never heard of this gentleman before, and I should have done a pronunciation check, but I didn't. Druski, I believe. It is white-faced NASCAR skit, hilarious or racist, or genius. Imagine a white comedian doing blackface. That's what this is about. I personally think it is 100% genius. Everything and anything goes, as far as I'm concerned. White, black, anything. Any ethnic joke, I don't care what it is. If you don't like it, don't watch it. I think it was genius. Absolutely genius. But you know and I know that dog don't hunt when it comes to other folks as well. So my friends, sit back. We're going to be talking about this in a lively and a boisterous discussion. I frankly believe, I hope, I trust. But let me tell you something right now, which is a very, very critical thing I want to talk to you, as I have been talking about from our great sponsor at preparedwithlionel.com, preparedwithlionel.com, preparedwithlionel.com. I always ask this question. What happens when shelves are bare? When the trucks, for whatever reason, one little hiccup and chaos hits, what happens? Hurricanes, wildfires, strikes, blackouts, riots, EMPs, UFOs, I don't know. Can you rule anything out with these people? Not at all. Not at all. Not especially if things go well with Trump. And you can't rule anything out anymore because imagine going a week without real food. Without, I'm talking about snacks, but no real food. But instead of non-life sustaining. But imagine going with real food. Sustenance. Life sustaining calories, clean water. That's why I urge you, I entreat, I beseech, I implore you right now to act now and go to My Patriot Supply's 3-month food supply kit. Over 2,000 calories a day, 22 varieties of the shelf life of over 25 years. And if you act today, you'll get 4 extra weeks free, a $247 value. Cannot beat it with a stick. Don't gamble with hunger. Don't play around with this. Go right now to My Patriot Supply. Don't wait until it's too late. Go to preparedwithlionel.com, 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 and you will one day, I am sad to say, you will thank me for it. It's true. Now let's go to a few things. Let's talk about what's happening, and let me bring you up to speed regarding this. As you know, one of my favorite stories and one of my favorite issues, which all of us love, is the notion of double standards. And this is why it's so critical, why I think it's so fascinating. And let me explain to you why. The notion of blackface is one of these things that just, well, we call it blackface, but that to me is really kind of it's the incorrect term. This is an absolute brilliant move on this fellow, Druski, and his take, if you will, on this case. Let me see something here. I've got my news of sorts. Here we go. Let me see here. Let me see this. I want to make sure I've got my stuff for you. Did a lot of good research here. A lot of words. A lot of good stuff. Druski, as you know, decided he would play and comport and portray this white NASCAR compatriot. And he did a prototypical black-faced thing. And he's a very interesting thing. He's a very very good fellow. And let me see this here. What he did was he decided he was going to do everything that black folks can't do. Everything that white folks can't do, he did. And again, I think it's genius because I'm telling you right now, believe it or not, I am of the opinion, the classical opinion, that what he did, what Druski's NASCAR stunt, it didn't just spark laughs, but it dare we say, it ripped open the festering wound of comedy double standard. And I think it's wonderful. Like I said to you, I have an insatiable love of ethnic jokes and anything that is, for the most part, inappropriate. If it's inappropriate, I really love it because that tells a lot about our culture as much as anything else does. So Druski's NASCAR stunt really made us wonder and address this double standard notion in America. And if you want to see the contradiction in high def, just imagine a white guy doing the same thing. It's that simple. And what people don't want to understand is that it's not just a kind of a silly reference, it's something which is even better. Now, anyway, so his name is Andrew Druski Desbordes, Desbords. Don't know how you pronounce it. But he suited up in a perfect, full redneck cosplay. That's what the kids call it. Cosplay is in costume play. And he really spared no expense, as it were. He was really, really good. And what he did was he decided that he would show people what it was like as he went behind the scenes at a NASCAR event. And I mean laid it on. You've got to spend time, please, looking at his incredible, how do I say this, his attention to detail. The, dare I say, the gynecomastia. I believe they are called, pardon my expression, bitch tits or moobs. Have you heard this? They're called moobs. And I think they're funny. Call me crazy. So what Druski did was he suited up in full redneck regalia, mullet wig, overalls, American flag, cowboy hat, sunburned tan lines, painted on his chest, tattoos, the whole kit and caboodle. And he was strutting around a NASCAR race, blasting Bruce Springsteen, nailing every stereotype of a good old boy, Southern white man. And for a moment, he was unrecognizable. Then came the kicker. He spit on the ground as a black man walked by and mocked another with the sneer, "You lost, boy?" The internet exploded. 193 million views, an avalanche of laughs. And speak also, go back to what Dave Chappelle did. Remember him, where he played this fellow who was a black man, and he played the black fellow who was blind. Remember that? Didn't know he was blind. Then there was the family referred to as the N-word. I mean, he went crazy, and it was funny, but he can do it. But if you peel back the layers and plumb the depths of this and question stares in your face, why is this acceptable? I mean, why is there not this mathematical parity? If a white comedian had done the reverse, blackface, fake hair, exaggerated speech, racial insults, it would be career suicide. Immediate cancellation. The culture wouldn't just slap him down. I mean, it would burn him at the stake. Theo Vaughn nailed the hypocrisy when he quipped online about getting a Jerry curl wig for his own skit. That's not just a gag, that's a scalpel cutting through this cultural absurdity. Why is one satire and the other hate speech? And the answer is ugly, but unavoidable. You see, comedy has become tribal. It's protected by groups and punching bag groups. Whites, especially working class Southerners, are fair game. Everyone else, handle with kid gloves or don't touch it at all. Eddie Murphy's, remember, White Like Me skit on SNL? Remember that? Remember Robert Downey Jr., how he got away with that? Because he's one of the chosen few. Tropic Thunder, pure genius. But he even admits it wouldn't fly today. Jimmy Fallon doing Chris Rock, nearly canceled. Remember Jimmy Kimmel? Remember Jimmy Kimmel was also, I think, blackface, or he did it. Howard Stern. How does this work? How does this work? And this is a question that, and I'm not asking just for the sake of being, problematic. But how does this work? I think it was the Man Show. Now, we're not going to go through the usual things about Archie Bunker, because Archie Bunker and All in the Family was a different story. It was something completely different. But the rules aren't written down, but they're enforced like you wouldn't believe. And that's why Joey Behar doesn't tell jokes anymore. She scolds people. That's why Rosie O'Donnell rants instead of riffs. And that's why late night is a wasteland of smug monologues. Comedy has been chained. It's turned into propaganda with punchlines. I think it's phenomenal. And Druski knew exactly what he was doing. He hacked the culture war. Outrage plus applause equals, some would say, vitality. But the collateral damage is the truth. It's the glaring truth. Our comedy isn't about truth anymore. It's about which tribe you're allowed to mock, and are you a member of that tribe? And the irony of this is that Druski's bit wasn't even purely punching up, but embodying a racist redneck. He spit at black attendees, humiliated them for laughs. That's not satire of white supremacy. That's playing racist theater for viral gold. And he gets a pass because he's black. And we've lost the ability to think critically about comedy. Comedy is dead. I don't know what it is today. I shouldn't say that. I mean, there is a few. Believe it or not, I think some of the best ones. I think Dave Chappelle does great stuff. I think Louis C.K., for my taste, his storytelling is terrific. It's wonderful. But we no longer ask what the intent was or what the commentary meant. We just check the identity of the performer. Approved or banned. That's it. Villain or victim. That's it. And that's death for comedy. Richard Pryor, George Carlin, Joan Rivers, Lenny Bruce. They offended everyone. That's why they were great. Because remember, you only catch flack when you're over the target. It's got to be problematic for it to be funny. And if it's funny, it's problematic. You see, the list of off-limit targets grows while the laughs shrink. I mean, the audience is starving. And Druski reminded us what it feels like when comedy is dangerous again. So here's the question. Not whether he went too far, but whether we're willing to admit the hypocrisy. Because if a white comic tried this, his career would be over in a heartbeat. Comedy can't survive double standards. Either everyone's fair game or no one is. That's the way it is. Now, I think it's funny. What were the moments in your life, my friend, that you thought were absolute hilarity? Remember, this is something that only you can decide. Only you can say this. Comedy is something I cannot tell you whether it's right or wrong or who's funny, who's not. I can't. That's something that is absolutely positively just up to you. And nobody can tell you otherwise. And I love ethnic jokes. I love them. Archie Bunker, by the way, was a story that people always get wrong. Archie Bunker was about a man who was an idiot. He was a racist idiot. He was a buffoon. He wasn't some college professor writing screeds about, whatever. He was a buffoon. And we laughed at him because he was a buffoon. That's how that works. And there was nothing about him that Norman Lear didn't approve of what Archie Bunker said. In fact, Archie Bunker, Carol O'Connor, was an absolute lib when it came to this, if the truth be known. So when you look at all this stuff and you ask yourself, where does this nonsense come from? What is this about? You got to ask yourself the question. First, what happened to our sense of humor? And why? Who gave black folks a pass? I don't understand this. And the people who would not give them the pass are not necessarily you and me, but people who run sort of the business. The people who run the biz, the people who are involved in this, they're the ones who are involved in this nonsense. I got to tell you something, and I mean this sincerely. These are things, these are considerations, these are aspects of life that I find to be a joy doing what I'm doing. An absolute joy. It's one of the things which makes this, and you, and I know it is radio gold. I'm going to be talking about this tonight at WABC overnights. People love this because it's all, for thee and not for me. I don't understand this. And this is the point. The point is not to find out what you think is funny. Because like I said, I can't do anything about that. What I can tell you is that we have to be able to demand that if you want to play by, we used to call it PC, now it's different, now it's woke. If you want to play by that, go ahead. We're 100% behind you. But remember, you wanted this. And we're going to play it. And we're going to boycott. We're going to boycott your, we're going to do everything you wanted to do. And in a sense, that's what happened with the woke backlash. When a lot of people involved in this fought back against woke ideology and that insanity. That's what that's all about. But you're going to have to ask yourself this question. What are you going to do about it? Here's what. You have to be able to have, we have to have the same loudmouths, the same annoying Al Sharptons that go to these people, that go to stations, and we make all kinds of noise. We boycott. We do it. I want those folks to understand what it's like. I want to destroy their comedy. I want Joy Reid. By the way, she lost her job because she sucks. Not only that, her numbers were lousy and the whole thing wasn't dying. But I want somebody to lose their job. They never do. They can say the most incredibly horrible thing about white people you can imagine. And if I say something even almost glancing reference to it, it's a different story. But this is what bothers me the most about social media. See, a lot of us figure like we don't have to do anything because the word will get out. It's just like people who figure, well, don't worry, Curtis Lee will win because of, cable TV, cable news will take care of him. Once people see on cable news the truth, they'll come along. I don't have to do anything, but cable news will expose it, specifically the right cable news and the right channels and the right people. Cable news women, they'll see the error of their ways when they watch cable news. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that, and it never worked like that. Never. And we are in the middle of a different time. There are some folks who could never work. Don Rickles could never work like this. Other people as well. But remember, black folks get a pass. And there's nothing more racist than telling you, there. We'll let you say what you want because, well, you've been through a hard time. You're special. And we're going to be nice to you, black people, because, well, you just, you need all the help. Poor things. You want to have reparations? Go ahead. Oh, and we'll tear down any statues you don't like. We'll get rid of. Oh, and we will fill the airwaves with either interracial couple or only black couples, but you will never see white couple. In fact, we're going to do everything in our power to destroy the white people. Look at Sydney Sweeney. Look at that one. But sometimes it fights back. We will chide and we will abhor and we will indict the white race, the white culture, because that's what we'll do to make you feel better because we've given up. We have no balls, no backbone. We have nothing. We've lost everything. We don't have any guts. We don't stand up for anything anymore. Nobody does it. I mean, look what happened to all the people that they blacklisted, so to speak, interesting pun, with Trump's inauguration. We don't do it back. I don't understand this. Who do you think is going to have, do we not have any powers en masse? Do we have any ability whatsoever to come forward and say, you better get rid of that guy or we're going to boycott you? Kind of what happened with Cracker Barrel, sort of. Do you think that was white rage? I don't know. But the bottom line is this. It's not just with blackface, and it's about everything. We are the biggest bunch of wimps anybody's ever seen. All we do is we just talk to each other. We're brave online. We say these things. We tweet and X and this and that. We don't do anything. Some of us don't even vote. We're real tough about that. Oh, my God. We are so tough and so mean. By God, don't let Don't make me write something. I'll write in capital letters. And then where will you be? I'm going to write in capital letters with emojis. That's right. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to vote. I'm not going to protest. I'm nothing. But I'm going to write in capital letters. That's what I'm going to do. And you'll feel my wrath, by God. You'll feel my wrath. Double standard. Nobody listens to us because you don't do anything. We don't scare anyone. The only thing we did was maybe, look, this big deal. Bud Light. We're funny about our brands, though. Bud Light. And I think Harley Davidson and maybe Costco was going to do some DEI stuff and ESG. But that's it. We are the biggest bunch of nothings. Pasty, white, lily-livered nothings. We don't get upset about anything. And we have to stop this, my friend. We have to absolutely do something about this. If it means something. If it doesn't mean anything, do not say anything. And the best thing to do would be to ignore him. I know nobody can do that. Nobody can ever do that. But to ignore him. Because he'll be known for this. And it'll poop out. I mean, you can't make a career on it. But it's funny how things happen. Remember, Bill Cosby was brought down by a guy named Hannibal Buress. Hannibal Buress was a comedian in Philly. I forget what year it was. It was a long time ago. Who one day just said, hey, what about all the women that Bill Cosby has attacked? And that was it. I don't know where that came from. It began everything. People said, I told you. Hannibal Buress. Somebody knew who he was. He's not famous anymore. What do? Throw in Scott Jennings. Ooh, that's good. Throw in Scott Jennings. That'll be good. Or maybe we can watch some cable news comedy show where somebody will joke about this. That'll show them. By God. We don't have any clout because we don't scare anybody. We don't do anything. I'll say tweet. We post a lot of stuff. What's the word? I don't want to say shit post, but that's about it. That's all we do. And until that changes, this is going to be nice. So we can talk about this. It's fun. I think this Druski, whatever, phenomenally funny. Absolutely funny. Because I'm funny. I love ethnic jokes. I could go one-on-one. Which ones do you want? Let's face it, you can tell more about society by how many jokes you have. For example, if I said, how many Italian jokes can you think of? Me? Some. French? Jews? Yeah. Women? Yeah. Spanish? Latino? Sorta. Jews? Yeah. Women? Yeah. Black? Forget it. Forget about it. I do it for weeks. Tells you everything. Tells you everything. It's our culture. Does that mean we're racist? Nope. We are a nation of ball busters. We are the nation of trolls, the United States trolls. We are absolutely brutal to each other. Brutal. If we like you, we're brutal. If you're my friend, I bust your balls like you can't believe. I mean, serious. Break stones, whatever you want to call it. It's true. That's who we are. That's the notion of who we are. But if you think anything can happen with this, nothing. No, nothing. Nothing. Because we don't scare anybody. Now, there's going to be some other good stuff, as I mentioned before. They're considering maybe looking at transgender as a form of mental illness in order to invalidate their weapons permits, which I find to be absolutely... Oh, Liz Solak is right. Polish jokes. I don't think Polish jokes were mean. I think they're recycled blonde jokes, newfie jokes from Canada. I don't know where the Polish thing came from. But you're right about that. I don't know why Polish people versus French, but we have these things about Canadians being boring, French being cowards, not their battle flag is white, Italians the mob, Spanish can be. It's really we think about Mexicans. We really don't think of because Spanish is so. Do you mean Spain? Do you mean Ecuador? No, it's a pretty Japanese, Chinese. The old ones you get. Certain people are bad drivers. Some people are cheap. That's the theme. Okay, and then you repeat the thing. Lazy, not really lazy, but you're told what they are. If you get the ethnicity wrong, if you say, for example, Jews can't sing, they'd say, what? What are you talking about? You got the wrong group. You don't know what that even means. Can't sing. Where'd you get that from? So you have to know what the accepted, what am I trying to say? You got to know what the accepted embellishment is, what the accepted stereotype is. And that's what you do. That's where we go. But I'm telling you, remember what I'm saying. This is a bigger deal. White people, here's the joke. Wimps. Just big talk. We had Rush Limbaugh. That's great. Did Rush Limbaugh change anything? Maybe. And the culture wars? No. Nobody changed that. No. That's the hardest. You might change people at the polls, but you will never. How about this? White people rioting because a white person was killed by a black person or by a black cop, or white people don't riot. So there's no. White people are absolutely just nobody's heard about them. Nobody's even. So, remember what I'm saying. Think about this. Think about what I'm saying. Think about the reference of this. And think about how nobody cares about us because nobody fears us. Okay? You got that one? I hope so. Hope everybody's doing great this evening. Don't forget tonight, listen to me at from 1 to 5 overnights on WABC. Make sure you check out Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. She is absolutely spot on, and thanks you so much for your support. We need your contributions. Well, that too, but we need your subscription. We need your subs because believe me, and there is such a bunch of bullshit going on regarding all of these victims of Epstein that are coming out. It is a casting call, a cattle call, I should say. They're coming out, they're auditioning to see who can be the next victim of it. People are saying, victim? Wait a minute, who are you? I'm the victim. Okay. It's like all the people who killed bin Laden. Nobody questions that. Nobody questions the victim. But if you go back and check, remember, some people are going to be found out as frauds. Or, not frauds, but maybe not exactly the level of victim they said they were. Okay? You got that? All right, my friends. Have a great and glorious day. Don't forget, follow us at Lionel Nation. And don't forget our legal version of this, Lionel Legal. All right, your friends. Have a great and a glorious day. Thanks so much for being a part of this. Thanks so much for being a part of our world. And until we meet again, remember these fateful words, these prophetic words, this valedictory, this sayonara. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da-da.